Welcome everyone, this is Eagle News. I am EJ Gonzalez in Washington. It's the first Saturday of September 2023 here in the nation's capital. The week's recap begins with the World Health Organization and the United Nations introducing a free online course on how to use data to end violence against women. This online course is designed for people working in government and closely supporting the government. Rochelle Feria has that story.
Did you know that 1 in 3 women around the world experience physical and/or sexual violence in their lifetime? This mostly at the hands of an intimate partner. WHO says violence against women is a global concern affecting public health, gender equality, and human rights, prevalent in every country and culture around the world. The health agency underscores the critical role of policymakers in both prevention and response, thus launching this new and free online course aimed at equipping public servants and policymakers in gaining knowledge about methodologies and the vital role of data in addressing violence against women. The 4-part course covers identification and significance of violence against women data, types of data, collection methods, and considerations for managing and reporting, underreported and under-researched knowledge gaps related to data capturing diverse women's experiences of violence, and methodological challenges and innovations regarding collecting data. The online course is a joint initiative of the WHO-UN Women Joint Program on Violence Against Women Data and Measurement, Apolitical, and the UN Special Program of Research, Development, and Research Training in Human Reproduction. Rochelle Feria, Washington, D.C., Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
With no deal in sight, a free resource fair offers assistance to writers, actors, and small businesses feeling the pinch from Hollywood's ongoing strike. In North Hollywood, California, Eva and Alan have that story.
The fallout from Hollywood's double strike not only impacts writers, actors, and production teams, but also a number of businesses whose revenue relies largely upon the movie, TV, and streaming industries.
In response, the LA County Film Office hosts a free resource fair to connect groups with mental health providers, legal services, and financial assistance options.
Our department is focused on workers and businesses, lifting them up. That's what we're all about. We provide programs and services to that end every day. And we know that our workers and small businesses connected to the creative economy have been suffering. We have small businesses like the prop house we're at. They rely on productions to be happening, which are down over 60% right now. And we also have the adjacent industries, your florists, your dry cleaners, your caterers. These folks all feed the industry and are impacted right now. We even have a food truck here that typically makes all their business being on production lots. And so we're here helping create a new space for them because their business has turned up overnight. And so we know people need the help.
Our prop house has been doing movies for the last 40 years, and we've done everything from, well, we'll go back, Forrest Gump, Titanic, The Color Purple. If you saw Oppenheimer, we did Oppenheimer. In fact, I have a couple atomic weapons in my parking lot right now from Oppenheimer. Our prop house right now is probably losing about $100,000 a month because we're just not working. There's no production to work on. We primarily do television and motion picture projects. We are doing a little bit of work, but not very much. What's heartbreaking to me are all of my clients who some of them tell me, I haven't worked since November. I haven't worked since December. And there's not something that they can pivot to or switch to. You know, you don't all of a sudden drop 200,000 people on the market and say, okay, let's find jobs for them. I would hope there would be discussion maybe that includes more than just those people sitting at the table. I think that since all of us are affected, we certainly all have a right to be heard and a right to talk about it.
So we manage permitting, we manage on-location filming, we support communities and neighbors as filming happens, and we have an advocacy role for all of those jurisdictions where we help to promote filming policy. So we're at about 40% of normal, but absolutely no scripted television or major feature work is happening at all in Los Angeles, really since the beginning of July. For the people who live here and all around the world, Hollywood has a special meaning. It means filming, it means television, and so sustaining this industry here becomes critical for cultural reasons as well as for business reasons.
Right now, most people are coming to us for our charitable financial assistance. We have a 100-year history of helping people who work both in front of and behind the camera in film and television, but they're coming to us for other needs, mental health, help with health insurance, help with their aging parents. You name it, we do it. It's absolutely critical. Everybody who comes to us, we do a mental health check. We want to know how they're coping. This is an incredibly stressful time. It's coming on the cusp of the pandemic. People are very desperate and they don't know where to turn. And so we really have to listen to their stories, understand what their needs are, do good comprehensive assessments, and get them linked to resources. By and far, most people are just looking for hope. They want to know that people know that they're suffering, that they're scared right now, that although they may support the strike, it's having a toll on their lives in every way.
There isn't work. And so because there isn't work, it's literally financially really, really hard. I've been, rather strapped, just literally finding how to pay everyday bills. AMTP. Please, find a way in your heart, in your soul, to really just come see our side. As actors, we need more money. We cannot be repeated. We are not repeatable. I am a one being. There are so many factors and things. And so, I'll say compassion is the one word.
Present at this resource event is a debate about artificial intelligence in entertainment.
The consensus of the people here, however, is that while technology can mimic human intelligence, AI writers and actors haven't yet the ability to walk a picket line in real life.
Evan Allen, North Hollywood, California. Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
Extraordinary stories from Thomas Eye likeness today. From a rare parasite entering a woman's brain, to a corpse flower coming to life, to a sleeping bee. These and more on Correspondent at Large.
And now news and commentary from around the globe. We begin with a story from the medical file. It's a strange story about a live parasite being pulled from the brain of a 64-year-old woman. Happened in Australia about a little over a year ago. Doctors just got around to publishing it in a medical journal. The patient had an unexplained illness that had baffled her doctors for about a year. When she started having memory lapses, they decided to do a brain scan. This is the brain scan you see here on the screen, and after viewing it, the docs decided to do a brain biopsy. But infectious disease specialist Dr. Sanjaya Senanayake says neurosurgeons found something they hadn't planned on.
So when the surgeon went in, she was going to do a biopsy. Was it cancer? Was it an abscess, etc.? And suddenly, with her forceps, she's picking up this CSIRO sign. As we worked out that this was a new CSIRO sign, as we worked out, theatre were absolutely stunned.
Now this thing was 8 centimeters, that's 3 inches long. He says this particular parasite has never been seen in humans before. It's normally found in snakes and kangaroos. He figures the patient got infected when she ate some edible shrubs that had been contaminated with parasitic larvae. In Nicaragua, environmental officials are helping to conserve an endangered species of turtle. This past week, they released about 500 olive ridley sea turtles into the Pacific Ocean. These tiny turtles were born in nurseries at Shakasenti Beach in Nicaragua. Park rangers collected thousands of eggs from nests that the turtles dug in the sand. They then took the eggs to nurseries where they stayed for up to 2 months until they hatched. About 50,000 turtles arrive every year to lay their eggs in the sand on this beach. The released turtles will return in about 15 to 20 years. By then they'll be a lot bigger, up to 70 centimeters long and weighing about 40 kilograms. Say, did any of you catch the super blue moon this past week? Oh, what a sight! Here are some time-lapse shots of it rising in the U.S. state of Maine. Now some explanation. A blue moon is the term for a second full moon in a month. It's rare, but not uncommon. But even rarer is when that second full moon is also a supermoon. A supermoon appears bigger because it's closer to the Earth. And it's very rare for these two events to occur together. Matter of fact, the next time this will happen will be in 2037. Another rare event, the blooming of the corpse flower, happened last week at the Huntington Botanical Garden in California. If you've got a sensitive nose, you might want to give this a miss. Gardener Bruce Dunn says there's a reason it's called a corpse flower.
It smells of rotting flesh. It's trying to attract carrion flies to come pollinate it. So the more it can get that smell out, the more flies it attracts, the better the plant does.
Dunn says once the flower opens, it only lasts for about 48 hours. Paul Rumor was one of hundreds of visitors who came to see this blossom.
I wouldn't say that it was like a corpse. It's more like an urban dumpster, I think. It would be like in a major city going by and smelling trash. But it's good. It's if you're into that.
Don't think this is a plant that bees would want to pollinate. And what do busy bees do when they get tired? Well, they rest. And I leave you today with images of a bee taking a nap in a flower. Apparently, male honeybees are mostly homeless. They usually don't go back to the hive. Typically, they sleep outside of the nest. This one you see here is snoozing in a flower. Others might perch themselves on a twig, hanging on with either its mandibles or legs. And how long do they sleep? According to scientists, 5 to 7 hours a night. Time for my rest now, and I'll be back in 7 days. In the meantime, I wish you all peace, joy, and happiness in the ensuing week. Thomas I. Likeness, Correspondent at Large, Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
The Pacific Information Communication Technology, or ICT ministers, convene in Papua New Guinea to forge collaboration on digital transformation. Iko Hortaleza Quinola on Oceania at a glance.
Papua New Guinea hosts the Pacific ICT Ministerial Dialogue under the theme Smart Pacific, One Voice, creating a digital future together for the Pacific. Delegates from Australia, Fiji, Kiribati, New Caledonia, New Zealand, Niue, Palau, Samoa, Solomon Islands, Tonga, and Vanuatu joined Papua New Guinea's Minister for ICT, Timothy Masiu, to discuss strategic partnerships pivotal in creating opportunities and amplifying collective voice on the global stage.
As a responsible minister, I don't want to just push these things because people want it. No, we have to bring in things that which can protect our people as well.
ICT connects people when we are in isolation. And therefore, this declaration will pave a way forward for us to foster development as well as develop our economies in the Pacific.
The dialogue aims to address common challenges in leveraging the transformative power of digital technology. The goal of these nations is to guarantee that the digital transformation they will embark upon genuinely encompasses and enriches lives of all citizens and their communities. Prime Minister James Marape underscores the country's commitment to nurture a digital economy that transcends geographical confines and bridges disparities in digital access.
Without ICT, the world of commerce and trade would not have grown much faster. In the last 10 years, it has grown. Global GDP has multiplied as a result of ICT that drives the economy of the world today.
The dialogue concludes with the signing of the Declaration on Digital Transformation of the Pacific and a state dinner hosted by the capital city governor, Boris Sparko. This dialogue creates an imperative atmosphere that no one will be left behind in the digital world. Eko Hortaleza Quinola, Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea, Eagle News, we live in extraordinary times.
Now let's head over to Nevada, where our team spoke to some consumers about how they think the current economy is affecting the food on their table, the roof over their head, and the clothes on their back. Anna Kui has that story.
Economists say inflation in the U.S. is showing signs of cooling, providing relief to consumers from higher prices. The recent Department of Labor's report showed the Consumer Price Index, or CPI, rose 0.2% in July. But despite that slight increase, prices for eggs and milk are falling, according to researchers. Economists say, considering CPI was at over 8% in August last year, things are definitely moderating and heading in the right direction. But some consumers don't necessarily agree.
I don't know what experts we're talking to, because it definitely hasn't, right? Pretty much everything has gone up except, the amount of money that I'm making.
I still think they're too high.
I mean, it just sucks overall. Like a gallon of milk or something like cheese has gone up like $2-3, and now you're like, what? What happened to the prices here?
Experts say just because the rate is coming down, it doesn't mean that prices are coming down with it.
The dollar goes a lot less further, and it may be stabilized. It may not be increasing as fast as it was maybe 6 months ago, but it's still up higher than it was, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
These same consumers feel even worse about gas prices, which it's seen climbing again, reaching its highest level since October 2022, according to Motor Club AAA.
Well, I just spent almost $120 filling up the truck. I do that once a week, and it's definitely too high.
Oh, that's the worst. It doesn't matter. Even if I go to Costco or Sam's Club, it's still pricey.
The national average for gas is $3.82 per gallon, and even higher at $4.49 here in Las Vegas, Nevada. The steady increase in crude oil, which accounts for almost half the cost of a gallon of gas, coupled with the recent extreme heat wave, which kept oil refineries from running at full capacity, are the main drivers of yet again climbing gas prices, according to industry experts. We asked these same consumers what they think is driving up gas prices.
I'm not sure. Government regulation, supply. There's probably a multitude of factors that go into that, but when it comes down to it, it's usually mismanagement by some government entity, one or the other, whether it's the state or the feds.
I think the oil and gas industry has always been greedy, and they don't pass savings on to the consumer. When the prices go up, okay, they say it's because, the price of oil has gone up, but even when they come down, they don't bring the prices down.
As these consumers face higher costs of living, they've learned to make little changes to help ease the burden, even at its slightest.
Well, just don't buy what I normally buy. I mean, you just got to stop.
Costco, Sam's Club, buy in bulk, just saves a little bit more, even though that's pricier too, but it saves a lot more that way.
I'm taking less, road trips for personal matters, but just trying to maybe drive more efficiently, not drive as fast.
And as far as the economy overall, here's what they have to say.
Well, I think people need to pay attention to, what politicians are saying, and I'm not talking just, on the presidential level or the federal level, local politicians, within our jurisdictions, the mayor, up to the governor, all of these people have an effect on it. And if you care about the cost of living, then you've got to pay attention to that kind of stuff. Actually read the bills that they're trying to put through and try and follow where the money's going. And hopefully we can make some changes here that, reduce our cost of living and just make things more enjoyable.
Honestly, it's not too concerning for me. I feel like a lot of the inflation has to do with problems overseas, like in Ukraine and the oil and stuff like that. Like most of grain comes from Ukraine, so if that war still goes on, we're still going to feel it for a long time.
They're too high, especially when I look at my Nevada energy bill this month, my State Farm insurance policy. I mean, Nevada energy was over the top, so it's awful. It's awful. The economy's horrible.
Though some experts say the economy is heading in the right direction, consumers are saying they are yet to see and feel signs of relief in their pockets. In Las Vegas and Akui, Eagle News, we live in extraordinary times.
September is Sepsis Awareness Month, and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention launches a program to bolster sepsis care in hospitals. Jessica Bautista on Health is Wealth.
Sepsis is the body's extreme response to an infection. It happens when an infection you already have triggers a chain reaction throughout your body. At present, 1 in 3 people who die in a hospital has sepsis during that hospitalization. In the US alone, 1.7 million adults develop this life-threatening emergency. 350,000 of them die during hospitalization or are discharged to hospice. To ensure that effective teams and resources are in place to quickly identify sepsis and save more lives, CDC launches the Hospital Sepsis Program Core Elements. Agency Director Mandy Cohen says CDC is calling on all U.S. hospitals to have a sepsis program and raise the bar on sepsis care by incorporating 7 core elements: leadership commitment, accountability, multi-professional expertise, action, tracking, reporting, and education. Cohen says sepsis is taking too many lives. This new critical resource is intended to help hospitals implement, monitor, and optimize sepsis programs, all to improve survival rates. For more information on sepsis, visit cdc.gov/sepsis. Jessica Bautista, Washington, D.C. Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
August is Black Business Month, and in South Texas, the Corpus Christi Black Chamber of Commerce celebrated with a week full of activities, including a business expo and career fair. Jane Kathleen Gregorio on Mind Your Business.
Every August since 2020, Black Business Month commemorates the success and innovation of African American entrepreneurs across the country. Here in South Texas, the Corpus Christi Black Chamber of Commerce celebrated with a week full of networking events to recognize and uplift Black-owned businesses.
Black Chamber's been around for over 80 years. This whole week, we've been celebrating and highlighting Black-owned businesses. We celebrated Women in Business on Monday. Tuesday, we had a procurement event with a major corporation, ExxonMobil. Wednesday, we celebrated Black Men in Business. Thursday was Young Business Leaders Roundtable. Friday, we had our kickoff networking mixer for our expo, and today is our expo, and tomorrow we'll have our Sunday fellowship.
It was a good experience to come here and meet other people in business and find out what other opportunities are out there for the business. So coming to something like this and being able to be open and talk to other people in the community about what your dream is to own a business.
Today at the Corpus Christi Black Chamber Expo, I think it is an awesome event. We have several people that came out and participated, several businesses that participated as vendors, and I was one of them, as you can see. I think it was very well planned out, and I think that even on next year it will be even better. We're asking everybody to participate, to put money into your own community, and that's the way to grow.
It starts with the community. It really does. I mean, we need to hear from the people what we need to do to get better. It's significant for me because it gives all the Black entrepreneurs and Black business owners the opportunity in the Coastal Bend to just get recognized, get their flowers for all the hard work and dedication they put into their skills, their gifts, their talents, as far as what they overall are doing, just to provide some sort of an impact for the greater good of the community.
Attending the Black Business Expo was just really amazing. Just walking through the door, you can feel the energy. I got all my needs met when I walked through the door for some things that I need to get taken care of. The beauty bar over here, that was one of my favorite spots to visit because I am going to have a business meeting there. So I'm looking forward to doing that. And then the chiropractor. As soon as I walked through the door, I saw that, so I got to talk to the doctor. And I will be visiting them soon. And then the popcorn man. And so, and then also the sweets, the baked sweets, and the other tables. Just really good, really good to see. It's good to get out and come together to events like this because you get to meet new people. And then the connection, and then just hearing about the small businesses and how they came to be and what they did and what they've done. It is so important to network. You never know who God's going to connect you with and who's going to be that person that's going to boost you forward.
In Corpus Christi, Texas, I'm Jane Kathleen Gregorio, Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
Meanwhile, in Ontario, Canada, students are gearing up for the new school year. Among several new additions to their province's educational system's curriculum is mental health support and financial literacy. Yolanda Espiras reports on Learning Curve.
Ontario announces several changes in the school curriculum as students head back to class next week. This includes the introduction of a new language curriculum, a technology course, a refocus on the development of reading, writing, and basic math skills, and the provision of mental health supports. Starting this September, the province will require all publicly funded school boards to follow Provincial Student Achievement Plan and metrics. The new curriculum will include financial literacy, where students will learn about budgeting and acquire hands-on skills. Ontario's Minister of Education, Stephen Lecce, believes that this will enhance student success and prepare them for future careers. Additionally, Ontario will allocate $700 million in base education funding and invest $109 million in a new strategy to boost literacy rates, which includes the hiring of 2,000 more educators. Familiar tensions are ongoing between the province and teachers. Minister Lecce wants all education worker unions to agree to a deal that prevents future teacher strikes from happening and to continue negotiations. In response, ETFO, or Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario, AEFO, or the French Teachers Union, and OECTA, Ontario English Catholic Teachers Association, say they are not considering the proposal at this time and is set to hold a strike vote throughout September. Yolanda Espiras, Toronto, Ontario, Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
It's time for our newest segment. Here's Shen Kadusale on Word of the Week.
Hi everyone! Welcome to Word of the Week. Did you know that the longest word in the Oxford English Dictionary has 45 letters? It is pneumono ultra microscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. Dictionary.com says it is an obscure term ostensibly referring to a lung disease caused by silica dust. In the 1930s, this word was invented in imitation of very long medical terms. Let me share with you a sentence using this word. My friend who's having her house renovated was having a hard time breathing the other day, and the doctor diagnosed her with pneumono ultra microscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. And that's our Word of the Week. Shen Kadusale, Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times. See you later.
And before we let you go, here's our photo of the week. This is the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial standing at the National Mall in Washington, D.C. On August 28, 1963, Dr. King made his historic I Have a Dream speech, also at the National Mall here in the U.S. Capitol. Thank you all for joining us again. If there are stories or topics you want us to share with you, just comment below. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and X at Eagle News Live. I am EJ Gonzalez. We live in extraordinary times. Stay happy and healthy, everyone. And for those in the U.S., happy Labor Day weekend.